Hi, my name is Audrey Marie. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I will be doing something a little bit different than I normally do. Normally, I focus on one book. Well, in this vlog, I will be reading Carrier and Shadow of the Mark. These are such short books. They're both around 300 pages long. And I have the audiobooks of both of them, so I have a feeling I'm just gonna breeze through these, that I figured I would just put them in one vlog together. I'm already 100 pages through Carrier of the Mark because I started it this morning. So if I'm going at that speed for both of these books, because I'm gonna read them back to back, I have my fingers crossed that with reading these two books, because it will be a reread from whenever I was in high school, and I love these books so much. I have high hopes. I'm just having a jolly good old time while reading these. I am currently in Carrier of the Mark. I started this morning. I'm 110 pages through it on chapter 9, and I see a lot of similarities to the Twilight books, a whole lot of similarities. So Megan is moving to a new country. She is from the US, and she and her dad are settling down in a little town in Ireland, trying to make friends and get to know the people of the town. And there's this one guy that she just sees far away and just stares at him. She was like, oh, I have an instant connection with this guy. And then he's always staring at her. Everybody Megan talks to throughout this book so far, they're always like, oh, they're for this weird family that has a lot of bad juju around them. You should not have anything to do with them. They just keep to themselves, and there's these all crazy stories about them. You should stay away from them. And she's always like, who's that guy? I want to be around him. She's always staring at him. He's always staring at her. And then this is a weird family. Adam is the name of the guy that she's constantly staring at and is constantly staring at her. They have this instant connection, and his older brother graduated high school already and is coming back and just staring at Megan. And Adam's twin sister, Anya, is also doing the same thing of just staring at her, and they're all weird. Another connection that has me thinking about Twilight is that she's doing the sailing class with her fellow classmates to get out of PE, and she hates water. She wants nothing to do with water. They live by a harbor, so they're able to take a sailing class, and Adam, which is also a high school student because they're all in high school, is the instructor of this class, and she happens to get knocked off the boat. And Adam goes in and saves her, and then she wakes up in the hospital or medical wing, and her dad is like, oh, thank God you didn't leave me. It's just interesting that it has a lot of flashbacks that I have with Twilight, because I read Twilight and even watched the movies here recently in the past couple of weeks, and within 100 pages they have already kissed. And they had barely any conversations about each other before this. It was literally just attraction. They haven't even had any conversations besides him saving her and being like, oh, you shouldn't be at this marina because it's not safe. It's literally no conversations between one another, but he literally goes, since you arrived here, I've been going crazy. I can't get you out of my mind. The more I try to distance myself, the more I find myself drawn to you. You might find that hard to believe considering what an idiot I've been. Dude, you literally haven't even had a full conversation with her. He has been avoiding her. Then he goes in for a kiss, and he kisses her cheek, and then her cheek, and then her nose, and then finally kisses her on the lips. You haven't even talked to her. Had a full-on conversation to get to know one another. Take her out to dinner first. It happened so fast. Get to know one another. A lot of weird stuff's happening. I do know what's going on because this is a reread. This is a solid reread for me. We'll see if it stands up to my thoughts from high school right now. I don't know. We'll see. 100 pages in. I'm a third of the way through. So I'm hoping it gets into the business of the book. Right now it's just a lot of attraction between the two characters, but not a lot of substance as to why. And there's a lot of weird things going on. Glowy stuff around water with Adam. Anya has weird stuff happening. She's like an animal whisperer, so she has weird stuff going on with animals. Don't really know about their older brother, Rian. I can't pronounce his name right. I'm sorry. And then Megan has been having some sensations in her hand, tingling sensation in her hands where it's making her cold. So there's not a whole lot going on in the book so far, and it needs to get into the depths. But I'm ready to continue to see if this helps me get out of my reading slump and get further into it, because I have a feeling I really needed to film before I went to classes tomorrow, because I have a feeling I will be getting through a chunk of this tomorrow before and after my classes. So I'm excited to get back into this and read even more. Been 2 days, I think, after I last gave you an update. I've read about 100 pages, and so I'm now at 128. I'm in the middle of chapter 15, and in the past 100 pages, it's literally just been the info dump of how the 3 siblings have their power and how their parents died, and now how Megan has powers as well, and what her little mark on the back of her neck is. And they've been training before they go over to this college. But literally in the past 100 pages, it's literally just been massive info dump. It's been about a week that she learned about all these powers, and she's been training with Adam's brother, and her and Adam just have this magical connection, and there's not really any depth to their relationship at all. They're just like, I have this drive to be next to you, and that's literally all it is. That is why they're together. The magic system is a little weird, because after their guardian asked or explained how this magic works, she literally goes, so are we related? That was literally her first question, and fair enough, because they're all really far descendants of this Greek god, and this Greek god, or this god, gave her 4 kids the elements, and the powers can only be given to the descendant of these 4 kids. And automatically when she asked that, I was like, that's a very valid question to do, but also it's generations, that 100 of generations. So yes, Sweet Home Alabama, but also not really, if that makes sense. It's very weird. Whenever she asked that, he was like, oh, it's more complicated than that. Like, no, don't worry about that. Y'all are not related whatsoever. It's really complicated and also very distant. So it's just a lot that we just learned in the last 100 pages, and we even learn why they moved around so often. But Rand basically opened up to Megan as to why they moved around so often and why he and his family owes Adam their lives, because Rand had a moment where he literally set the entire house on fire with everybody in it besides Adam, and Adam has the connection with water, and he happened to be outside the house at this moment, and he heard screaming. He realized the house was on fire, so he literally evoked his entire power that he could and just pulled all the water possible and doused the house and saved everyone. So it's just a lot of info dumping. Not a lot has happened. Just been training, and we haven't really seen a whole lot about it. We got to see some cool magical abilities by Adam, Anya, and Rand. Adam and Megan are just all over one another. So it's a very surface level relationship at the moment, because I think that the connection is drawn from their magical abilities, drawing them together. So, and then we also learn that the carrier of the mark is the title for the females, because they're the only ones who can pass on the lineage of the marked. Men can't really do it. It's like a recessive genes. It can only be passed down through their line, and it literally has to be arranged, because there's this group of people is so focused on wanting to have more kids to be marked so they can do the ritual during the summer solstice. They're preparing for this ritual, but she's got to evoke her powers, and it's just a lot, very convoluted, and just a lot of info dumping. But also it's like 330 pages, so they have to info dump to get it across, or you don't get all the info. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying my time. It's a quick, simple read, easy going, quick read. Like, the words on the pages are pretty big compared to some of the other books I'm reading, and also the margins are pretty massive, so I'm breezing through it. I honestly could have finished this book by now, but I got it off just so I could give a little update, so I'm not finishing it without giving you an update over the last 200 pages of this book because it's so short. So I have this little amount left to read, and I'll probably finish it today or tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see depending on my assignments and my classes. Earlier this morning, I finished Carrier of the Mark. The last 100 pages, I flew through it. I finished it in between and after my class. It was just a massive info dump, I will say. In the first 200 pages, I felt like it was just very quick of a relationship between the two of them. But as the book went on in the last 100 pages, they had a lot more time to grow their relationship between Adam and Megan, so it felt more like a solid relationship between the two of them instead of just a surface level attraction. So I enjoyed this. I really like the family. I will say it reminds me a little bit here and there of the family of Twilight, because when Megan and Anya were together and they had this feeling that something was up and there was this weird guy following them, they called Adam, Fiona, and Rhiannon. The two boys hopped in the car and met Megan and Anya before they got back to the house. And it just reminded me in New Moon where Bella and Jacob were at the movie theater and Jacob's like, oh, I'm not feeling good, so he had to leave. It had flashbacks for that moment from New Moon in this book, just because they were at a movie theater and they were like, oh, something's not right here. We feel like something's wrong. We can't pinpoint it exactly. I was stressed at the end of this. I was like, oh my god, is Adam and Fiona gonna die? Even though I've read this book, it's been so many years that I haven't been in the depths of the story in so long that I forgot if one of them died. I was just like, I'm stressed. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm a little sad to say that I guess it was supposed to be a trilogy, but the third book has never been released. It has the name on Goodreads, but it's never been published. So I forget how Shadow of the Mark ends. I'm just a little sad because it's been so long. I'm pretty sure first one, Carrier of the Mark, was published in 2011, I think, and Shadow of the Mark was published in 2012. I read these pretty darn close to the time frame of these. I'm so sad that after all these years, the third book has never been published. It breaks my heart. I've thought about these books over the years so many times, and they stuck out to me so much that I literally have bought them in 2025. I'm really sad to see that the storyline has just never been finished, because I was reading through the reviews in the comments, because it's never been released, so people are just posting on there being like, are they ever gonna release it? Is this just gonna be a series where you don't get an ending? It'll never be finished. Leigh Fallon has one other book, I think, that she published, but it was back in the same time frame that she published these. So after Carrier of the Mark, I hopped into Shadow of the Mark earlier, and I've only gotten 30 pages in. I'm in chapter 5 now, called Developments, and not a whole lot's been happening. Rhiannon is at Trinity still doing research for Adam and Megan, because once she evoked her full potential with her powers, Adam and her are dealing with a sudden surge of powers whenever the two of them are intimate with one another. So they're still trying to figure that out in this book, if they're able to be together, or if the story of the past Mark, the one that's been translated, is just a fluke of nature, or if the other one that's also been recorded that hasn't been translated also happened to have catastrophic events happen in the world. So I'm curious to see if they're able to figure it out in this book, or if that's one of the last things that was left open at the end. And I'm gonna be so sad once I finish this book and I'll never get to finish the series and know what the intended ending is. It's just gonna be an open-ended question. We'll never have the ending. It breaks my heart to know that the series might never get finished. I will say, I'm still enjoying my time while reading this. I just gotta remember that some of my questions will not be answered, because it's been over 10 years since these books been published, and there'll never be an ending in sight. But right now, Anya is about to, in a couple days, Anya is gonna meet her betrothed, because the female carriers, that's what they're called, carriers, the females that are marked are the only ones that produce possible marked children. So their offspring only have the mark, the males do not. So it's up to her to continue the lineage of the marked, because Megan is just a wild card. And so everything's going on to Anya, and she's about to possibly meet her betrothed. And also they're gonna reinstate the knights of the marked, so that's interesting as well, because now there's the 4 of them total, so they're reinstating that. So I'm intrigued as to see what happens in the next 300 pages. It is Friday now, and I was supposed to go to studio today, and that did not happen exactly like I planned on it. I woke up with a really bad migraine. That kind of took me out for the count because I felt nauseous all day, and my stomach was just not cooperating. My stomach was hurting all day. I took my migraine medicine. I popped some ibuprofen. I popped some medicine for myself. I was not feeling good this morning, and it finally stopped just 2 or 3 hours ago, wherever I was laying in bed just not feeling myself today. It was rough today, and even though I was laying in bed in so much pain, I pulled out my laptop. I've been working on my thesis proposal booklet that I've been working on. We have a draft on Monday due, so I've been throwing in all the context that I have prepared over the past couple of months. So I'm throwing that all together, trying to make it look a little nice, get nothing put together, even though the booklet isn't due till December or something, but they want some drafts done before the final, so we can get some comments and feedback on it. It's starting to look pretty decent. I was just laying in bed pretty much all day, just trying to get my body to stop fighting against me. But I was able to post a couple Instagram posts that I've been meaning to do, because of all the weddings I've been to. I have a decent amount of nice photos of me all dressed up, so I figured I would end up posting those, but I didn't want to post right next to one wedding, someone else's wedding, so I had to wait a week or 2. So I finally posted from the first wedding I was in, and then I think tomorrow I'm going to post a post from the second wedding I went to, and then probably Sunday I'll be posting a couple posts from the third wedding I went to. So I'm going to have a lot of new Instagram posts on my Instagram, so go check out my Instagram if you're interested to see what it was like and what I wore, because I had some cute outfits to those weddings. So I've just been working on studio for pretty much the entire day. There's a little bit that I was able to read. I read a bit last night before bed, and then I read some while I was eating. Last night we found out Chloe's part of the knights that the order reinstated, and I have a sneaky suspicion that Petra, Megan's dad's girlfriend, might also be involved in the Knights. I'm not 100% sure on that one, so don't quote me, but I'm feeling that vibe, and I'm curious to see. Even though I've read this, I don't remember the details of the series, so I can't remember how the story ends. Curious to see how Megan and them all deal with her taking Adam, Anya's, and Rianne's powers, because every time she touches one of them, it seems like she happens to pull their power from them. Each one of them is getting drawn to touch Megan, and is causing a rift between Adam and Rianne, because Rianne tried to kiss Megan at one point, but it is definitely because of the powers. The powers are called to one another. She needs to figure out how to not drain everybody of their power, because every time she kisses Adam, he passes out or staggers forward, and she has to think about giving it back. And I feel like she's been draining them for a while now. And when Anya touched fingertips while they were hanging outside, she noticed that when Anya walked away, she left a handprint of florals. Well, Megan did the exact same thing. And then when Rianne was having a fit, because once they found Chloe was part of the Knights, he freaked out a bit, and his powers overtaken him, and Megan walked over to him and held his hand or something. I don't remember exactly how that happened, but she touched him, and at the end of their interaction, she happened to have a fireball in her hand. So I'm curious to see how they get through this. It's at page 140 in the middle of chapter 15, and they're now in Sweden where the knights congregate because they needed to confront Chloe and all of them. So all the four of them went there without Fionn, so they're in a little bit of trouble with Fionn, but I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying my time with this. It's just a really simple read. Everything's pretty straightforward. I'm halfway through this book. I have 150 pages left, so I'll probably finish it this weekend and read it here and there whenever I have time, off and on from working on a studio. So pop in again whenever I have more info on this book or once I finish. Later, and I finished Shadow of the Mark, and I am so sad that the next book of the series is not out. I now recognize why I've been thinking about this series nonstop, because the last line just, it starts it up perfectly for the next book, but there is no next book. But I enjoyed this book so much. I would probably say this one, Shadow of the Mark, is more of my favorite due to being able to see the relationship between all of them together more and see the emotional side of them all. While in this one, it was just a massive info dump as to how the powers work. This one was more into their emotions. So I think this one was a lot better than the first one, but I did really enjoy both of these. Highly recommend. But you got to go knowing into it that the last book of the series is not out. So the second book ends on somewhat of a cliffhanger. It wraps up the second book, but it leaves it open for a third book, but there is no third book. So that's a little bit of a predicament. So I'm sad there's not the third book out. It's listed on Goodreads, but there's no cover for it. There's no info regarding it. So I wish the third book was out. I would read it in a heartbeat, because these are such easy reads to get through. The words are pretty big on the pages, and the margins are pretty big as well. So it's a really quick read. I read both of these books within a week. I read them in 6 days altogether. So I just breezed through these. It gets stressful at times, especially at the end of the book in the last 50 pages. It gets really stressful that as the impact of the story comes around, but the rest of the book really isn't too suspenseful. Each one had their own pros and cons to it, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. I would probably give both of these books, I would give a 3.5 stars, because I'm not raving about it. It would be higher if I knew the series would get completed one day. But since the series is not fully complete, and I will be thinking about what could possibly happen to this ending, and I'm a little frustrated that we don't get the ending. Well, this is where I'm wrapping up this reading vlog, and I hope you enjoyed my experience and my thoughts on these books. If you enjoyed the video, like it, subscribe. I try to post every week. That is my goal. We'll see if that continues, and I also have a TikTok where I'm posting little segments of my reading vlogs. And if you're also interested, I post every once in a while on my Instagram. Nothing book related, but I do post on my Instagram every once in a while. Those are in the caption of my YouTube videos or in the description below. So go check those out if you're interested, and thank you so much for clicking on this video. I really appreciate it, and hope you have an amazing day.